Why your camera shaking like that?
Because it's being held. It wasn't working on the MacBook.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Hey, everyone. You know, if you're new to the show, you know, we heavy on therapy and mental health. For the last 4, 5, 6, 7 shows, I've been speaking about Adelante Clinical Services, and I've been telling you how great they are and how she was going to be the first guest of the year on this show. So here she is, the lovely therapist, Monica Alvarenga.
Thank you. I just wanted to say I applaud you for recognizing and just encouraging people, more people of color and people who look like you and I, to kind of look into therapy and give it a shot, just to kind of say it's okay. Yes. Giving people that permission, giving people that green light to feel comfortable enough to recognize that, you know what, there might be some value in this.
Yes. What made you passionate about becoming a therapist?
I think it's a variety of things. I recognized very early on, due to my own personal life experiences and just growing up in Hartford and recognizing a lack of resources, of being able to have someone who's available that looks like me.
Yes.
That was raised in a similar or the same environment as myself, and feeling comfortable enough to share certain cultural aspects, and knowing that getting hit with a chancla wasn't totally abnormal, and certain things that happened in my household could have been considered borderline abusive, but on some note, it's also very cultural.
Yes.
You know, and feeling safe to have that space to say, you know what, these things happened. I still love where I am. I'm still very happy with the people in my life, but there's some things I need to get off my chest.
Yes. And I commend you, because I've heard you mention us and culture and our, and it speaks volumes to, you know, how serious you are to sending that elevator back down and reaching back out to your own, to your people and where you come from. So I just want to say that I admire that and I respect that, you know, to the fullest. I think that's extremely important. You know, some people turn their back and, you know, they know they may come from somewhere where it's problems, and they can fill that gap and they can fill that void, and they turn their nose up. So kudos to you for not turning your back and knowing where you came from. That's a clear path to show that you know exactly where you're going. So I commend you on that.
Thank you.
My next question is, what gets you excited? Like, what gets you excited about the work you're doing? Because I'm sure, just from speaking to you, is like, I know that your clients, like, you have a positive impact on their lives. So what gets you excited about the work you're doing?
I like when my clients experience those aha moments where it's like, you know what? I can already hear our discussion in my head. I know that I don't need to reach out because I can already hear your voice. I already know which way I'm supposed to kind of guide my thoughts, guide the thought process, as opposed to feeling like they can't trust their gut, like they can't trust their own decisions and their own intuition. And when they come back and they say, I did what was right for me and I didn't question it. I think too often, depending on what's going on in our lives, we have these moments of like, I have to hold everybody else down around me, make sure everybody else is good, and then I'll take care of me. But that ends up depleting us as individuals, where we end up exhausting ourselves, making sure everyone else is good, but then we're just done and we have nothing else to feed ourselves emotionally, physically, spiritually, and we're just spent. True. But if you're not taking care of self and taking care of home first, you're not a good enough parent, partner. You're just getting by. You need to do better for you in order to be that great parent, that great partner, that great entrepreneur, whatever it is you're doing in your life. But you have to recognize and appreciate and honor you first.
And I agree with that. I think a lot of people tend to put everyone else before themselves. You know, you look up years from now, you wonder where you went, and you wonder where all this stress comes from and this heartache, is because you never took the time to put yourself first. And I feel that right now, more than ever, I think mental health is going to be like a real big boom, because, you know, growing up, people was like anxiety, well, ain't nothing wrong with you. People brush things off, but I really feel that right now is the time to tap in. You know, if you can go, if you want to go as a family, like, that's dope. This should be taken just as serious as the family going out to dinner or the family going on a trip. Not to say that therapy is going to fix everything, but it's going to provide a platform where everyone can get out their truths And then you know, and they have a mediator there and someone that's not going to take anyone's side. It's going to hold everyone. It's going to hold up that mirror of accountability. You know, and so what's the biggest misconception about seeing a therapist? Because I hear people often say, I just don't want to tell a stranger my business. And, you know, and I sympathize with them. I agree with it. And I say, from what I know, confidentiality is key. Like, you know, they would lose their job. They would lose their license if they were to just tell your business to someone else. So what are some of the biggest misconceptions and how can we overcome them?
I'll start with something you said just a moment ago when you said something about going to therapy and fixing things. The fixing portion comes from the individual or the family or the couple that's coming to see me, right? Mm-hmm. My part there is to provide guidance, support, and a perspective. I could give you a million different tools. If you choose not to implement those tools that I give you, yeah, nothing's going to change. If you continue to move the same way, your life will continue to be that same unhappy, unfulfilled life, but that's a choice you're making.
Mm-hmm. Which leads me to my next question, because they also ask, well, I want to go to therapy. I want to get better. I want to take the necessary step to get better, but the person that I'm dealing with doesn't believe in that. And, you know, they telling me I shouldn't go. Me personally, I think that's toxic. So how would one respond to a jealous, unsupportive partner? How would one deal with that?
I think you hit it on the head. I think it's super important, and I've faced that situation within my own practice. I always invite them to come. Let them get a feel for what therapy is like. Let them know exactly what we're discussing. And it's like what you said earlier. It's not a matter of taking sides. I'm not here to say one person is wrong and the other person's right. It's just a matter of gaining perspective and saying, okay, is this where you want to stay, or do you want to move forward? And if you do, there's certain things that are going to be required from each one of you. For a partner that isn't even willing to come in, I would say, well, your partner should want you to be the best version of yourself. So even if you're coming alone and your partner's resistant to that, it's very important that you continue to do the work on your own, and then you decide which way you want to move forward with that partner.
I agree. Yeah, you know, because some feel some type of way, especially, I mean, you easy on the eye, so you might have some trouble, you know, if a male want to come see you and then their spouse or someone feels a certain type of way. Like you said, I think inviting them is key. And
I can't say I've ever had that problem. But, okay.
First of all, if you want to check in, this is Monica Alvarenga, the lovely therapist from Adelante Clinical Services located in Hartford. She'll give you all the contacts and everything towards the end of this interview, but check out, she's a dope therapist, very beautiful and sweet personality and down-to-earth individual. I brought her here for y'all, you know, brought her to Hoorilla so she can drop some gems. But question I want to ask you, if there was anything that you could do to make the therapy industry better, what would it be?
I would encourage more therapists to do pro bono work. I think, and I find it required of myself. I don't tell people how to run their businesses. It is a business. This is how people feed themselves and feed their families. However, I think it's crucial that you have a certain number of slots allotted to do pro bono work. There are some people who absolutely need the help and don't have the resources to be able to access therapy. I think there should be a group or a requirement of every individual who practices to have set aside 5, 4, 3, maybe even just 1, whatever they can afford to do, to have somebody that they treat for free.
Yeah, I think that's great, because I was mentioning that in the previous show that a lot of people get intimidated also because they feel that they can't afford it. And, you know, I encourage them and tell them that, you know, you never know, just, you know, take a shot at it, because you go have a heart-to-heart with somebody hear you out, and I'm sure the financial part will get worked out. But if you're really seeking help, if you really need that help, don't let nothing hold you back. Like, just, you know, just go out and get it. You see a pair of shoes, or you fill up that Amazon basket, you do all that with no problem. So if you need something to, you know, change your life and make a positive step in the right direction, seek therapy. Don't worry about all the things that you can't do. Don't worry about all the things that you don't have. Use what you got and work with that. I would like for you to give our viewers, typically, I'm always for the homegirls, because dude be running bullshit game on them, and I gotta put them on. So can you give some young ladies, some women, some gems that may be going through tough relationships, and or if some of them are feeling that ride or die bitch role, because some of them, let's just give them just a teeny bit of therapy right here. Just whatever you can sprinkle on them, we would greatly appreciate it. Once again, this is Monica Alvarenga from Adolescents Clinical Services. Solid as they come. Listen to her.
Okay, so your question is, what advice would I have for women who are fulfilling the role of the ride or die chick?
Yes.
Okay. So first off, I would say it's an unreasonable expectation for any partner, man or woman, to say to someone else that I expect you to ride for me if that means doing things that are illegal, jeopardize their freedom, jeopardize their well-being or their safety or that of their children or families. It's unfair and it's disrespectful as fuck. If a man loves you, and we're talking about loyalty, because don't think that being a ride or die is being loyal. A man who is loyal to you, a woman who is loyal to you will not jeopardize you. That's not love. You saying, no, I'm not going to hold these drugs. No, I'm not holding the gun. No, I'm not going to go to New York and re-up with you. No, I'm not cooking this. I'm not doing that. I'm not hiding this. My house is not the trap house. Respect yourself enough and understand that if that partner is asking you for that, he is not respecting you.
That's heavy right there. That's heavy. I appreciate that. You're so passionate.
Thank you. So I'm on Instagram on adelante.clinical.com. That's my website. You can follow me on Facebook. You should be able to see all my info on Ray's live right now. Any questions, please feel free to call me for a consult. I'm not saying that you have to see me for therapy, but I would definitely encourage you to reach out. Ask me any questions you have about therapy. I know Ray mentioned confidentiality earlier, and that's a very big deal for a lot of people. And he's right. Anyone who was to share, just like any medical information, if anyone was to share anything that you shared in a therapy session with a licensed professional and they give that information to someone free without your consent, it's a violation. It's unethical, and you will lose your license for such.
That's what we're doing. We're big advocates. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's just some hocus pocus magic trick and it's going to make everything go away. But I will say this: it's a start. And the things that you're holding inside, they're eating you up like cancer. And if you don't do anything, you owe it to yourself. You don't have to, put it on social media. Matter of fact, don't tell nobody. Go get yourself right. Take it one day at a time. Just know that it's a process. Like rest in peace, like Nipsey Hussle said, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not something you do for a season or no. You understand what I'm saying? Like, don't get too caught up in the financial aspect of it. You spend money on all type of bullshit. And some of y'all, I don't even want to get, or some of y'all go buy butts before you buy a home. I'm just keeping it real. Seek therapy. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. Everything else will follow you. Once again, I want to thank the lovely Monica Alvarenga for being our guest. She's at Adolescents Clinical Services. You can reach out to her. Man, love y'all. Peace.
Have a good night.
All right, good night.